Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms. And today I'm at the DoSeum, and I'm in one of the classrooms for the Little DOers Preschool at the DoSeum. And my guest for Charter Moms Chats is Kathy Jordan, and she's the director of Little DOers Preschool at the DoSeum. And we have a new post on the blog today, so you might have seen it at sachartermoms.com and on our different social media feeds. So we sent a writer to find out all about Little Doers, and now it's featured on the blog. But like, it's so good to like have a conversation about it and get to find out more about it that way. And so little change of plans. We had a little bit later start, but the plus side is we are in the classroom, and we towards the end we'll give you a little peek at what the classroom is like. So
Yes.
So Kathy, I'm so glad you can join us. And let's I guess maybe sort of step back, big picture, like the DoSeum. I'm sure almost all of our audience has heard of the DoSeum.
Yes.
Maybe if they have like a brand new little baby, maybe they haven't heard about the DoSeum yet. So
Yes.
Can you introduce that?
Okay, well, matter of fact, today I did do a tour for a family that had not been here before, and they were interested in the school. So what I will say is, I come from a formal education background as a regular special ed teacher. So what I will say to teaching also, not just being the director here in the Little Doers, is it's a wonderful, refreshing take on teaching, because we're able to go down into the galleries. The children have hands-on for everything here, and it really gives them a very experiential experience. They can really, they grasp the concepts of what we're talking to them about every week when we have our lessons. And it just really, knowing the background I came from, just having them be able to go into innovation, say, and that's what I told my mom today. They can go into innovation, and there are the representations of engineering. I have 5 weeks of engineering every year, so we're able to go in there. We study simple machines. We go into the force course. So it's just a wonderful place to teach children. And of course, it's very joyous because they get to go to Little Town every morning when they get here, before the guests get here.
Yeah. So Little Town is my son's favorite. So so my kids, I mean, my listeners know, but they have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. And
Okay.
when I homeschooled my 15-year-old for first grade, we would go almost at least once a week. We'd go to back when it was on Houston Street.
Yes.
And
yes.
so we would go to the basement, and there were these art classes. And so
yes. I was down there just for a little while.
Oh yeah. So if Ms. Prather is watching, she was the one who'd teach like the science classes and the art classes, and like that was part of our homeschool curriculum, was doing those activities. And then fast forward, so now he's 15, and his favorite thing is volunteering in Little Town. He's done at this point over 170 hours volunteering.
I'm sure that I run into him, because Little Town is kind of my second home. So it was always my love when I came here. I love working with the preschool age children, and that's what I did back in my other job. The children were between 5 and 7 and 3 to 5 at different schools. So it's my love. I love all children, but I really have the heart to work with the little tiny people. But I bet I've run into your son.
No, he says that's his favorite. That's his favorite part, because he says the little kids are so cute to him. And I just wonder, and everything's so small there. So it's like for them, they feel very at home. I don't know how my son is 6'5", so I don't know how he.
Oh wow.
I don't know how he fits in there, but he says he puts toys away. I'm like, you never put toys away when you were little, but.
Oh well,
but now,
that changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
My son didn't either, but he's immaculate now as an adult.
He likes caring for them. But yeah, I guess for anyone who hasn't been to Little Town, it's like everything's miniature, and then it's just great like role play. There's the grocery store, there's the airplane, there's like the
vet,
little car.
We have a vet. We have a food truck. We have the frost bank. We have so many things in there, but especially Little Town for the Little Doers, that's where they can learn some of their math, their colors, do role play, as you said, and that helps them when we have financial units. We do a whole month of financial literacy later after the first of the year. And When we're studying community workers, there you go, you're in Little Town again. So again, the exhibits here are just a wellspring of information for the kids.
Yeah. Well, and I think one thing that, I mean, so as HRMs, like we're talking to a lot of what we consider are the best early childhood programs in town, and the common theme is about the importance of that kids learn through playing.
Exactly.
Right. That's the best way. So what you're describing is these important topics like engineering and financial
Yes.
literacy, which could sound really intimidating. They're learning it, but it's through play.
Yes. They obviously don't know what our goal is in the beginning, but no, they love it. And we make things for financial literacy, for example. We make bracelets every year and we sell them to the staff so that they can continue with that unit of financial literacy. But they just really, these children, I watch them from when they first come in and when they leave, and some stay for 2 years. Some come at age 3 and stay till right before they're ready to go to kindergarten. So they are just, you see the excitement in their eyes every time they come in here. Not saying that my formal teaching in a traditional classroom wasn't good too for the children, but this is just very different. And I think it's a wonderful thing, because some children I have in here learn better by doing. And so they're accommodated in different ways. And it's a great place to have them.
Yeah. So we talked about like the importance of play, but is there kind of more to like the learning approach? It sounds like you're very conscious about, like bringing in concepts. Yeah. Like, I mean, so like they're learning, these STEAM concepts,
Yes,
right? Like
yes, they're
science,
learning
technology,
STEAM and
engineering,
literacy,
arts, math.
everything. And it's going into the galleries, we're able to teach them beyond what they would be able to understand if they couldn't see something. That's the part I love. Our approach, we write our own curriculum. And so our approach is more of a holistic one, because of utilizing the galleries that we have, because we want the children, of course, to be learner driven. They're in charge of their learning. We're just there to facilitate on the side to make sure they have what they need.
Right. No, that's so important. I think, I mean, I'm thinking back about, for me as that anxious parent, and I'm thinking, well, how am I going to get my child ready for kindergarten? Like, do they have to be reading already? What do they have to be doing? And what I've learned through talking to educators, especially the ones who specialize in early childhood, it's not so much like trying to pack in more knowledge younger. It's more like, can they, like, if they get frustrated, can they calm themselves down? Like,
Yes.
if they're working as a team with other little ones, are they able to cooperate? Are they able to, like, give and take and, work socially? Like that there's so much more to it than just, right? I think like
the numbers and reading.
Right.
That's what I share with my parents when they come in. I've usually got some questions regarding, are they going to learn how to read? Are they going to learn how to write? Are they going to? And what I tell all my parents is, first of all, our learners learn at their own pace. However, I remind them that really pre-K years, that's the time when you focus on the social emotional piece up here, because everything else comes when they start work. They have to get that social emotional piece. You'll see that when you bring it around. If they don't get that social emotional piece to the point where they are functioning well by the time they're 5 years old in kindergarten, it's much more difficult for them to learn their letters again or to do anything. They've really got to get that piece down. And they're learning all these things as they go along, but it's that learning how to take turns and share and all those things that are very important. And that's the part, I think that's one of the main reasons I love having the 3s and 4s, is because we have that social emotional content, and it's very, very, very important.
Yeah.
And I love it when they have those light bulbs go on and they get it, so it's a wonderful place.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a really good point you made about that kids do develop at different ages. And I think that, parents maybe, like, it's important to be aware of the milestones, but like, don't freak out if, a child is not
Yes.
doing something at a certain age, like that's not foreshadowing that they're going to be behind later. That right,
No.
that it's more of these like fundamental things, right? Like just appreciating like, hey, I'm going to school, and school's a fun place, and having a positive attitude about
Exactly.
about school. Like,
And that has to lead me to the children that we've had in our classes over the last 8 years. I can't believe we're finishing the 8th year. We were total with the DoSeum, or it wasn't called DoSeum before when
Right.
we were downtown, but there's been a total of being down on Houston and here 27 years of informal education, as you know, because you went down there.
Yeah.
But there's been 8 years of the preschool here. So I let my parents come back to me for years now. I've got relationships. They come back to me and say, remember how she was very shy and we couldn't get her to talk a lot or anything? And I know for sure they will tell me just having that 2 years in Doers or having a preschool base, that now she's in plays, and they saw how it connected to that, and the children that didn't appear to understand numbers or their letters or anything, by the time they get rolling, they said, they know this background was important, and the social emotional piece is what helped set that into place. It
Yeah.
really did. I have siblings. I've had 3 children in some families come right after each other, and I've got some at my door that will walk in here to pick up brother or sister, and they're like 2, and they said, well, next year, Miss Kathy, we're bringing them to you. So we have that community. That's another thing that I love about, I think we're small. We have 2 classes.
Right.
This year we built up to 2 classes. We always had 1. So we have up to 72 children that go through here, because we have 36 on each side, and it's 12 a day. So our classes are nice and small. And that's another thing I think we have going for us. I can keep them 12 children, no more than 12, and 2 teachers always. So that's a wonderful ratio. I think that's one of the things that we can offer, and that is different from other places, is the small class size. And because we're small, I think we can get that sense of community, not easier, but it does seem like it falls into place more. I have my parents meet each other outside the door and introduce themselves, and they will start setting up play dates, and we're like a little family. We're like a little family. So it's a wonderful thing. I go
Yeah.
and have I'm a grandmother surrogate for 2 of my children, that brother and sister, because grandma doesn't live here. So they call me every year to go to school and have lunch. I go to Grandparents' Day. And they said, we count on you every year, because grandma can't come from where they come from. And so it's a community, and you don't lose the ones that leave. They always come back, or
Yeah.
I've had some come back and visit me that they've moved to other states.
Wow.
And because they have memorable experiences here, being able to touch everything and hands-on.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned about adding that additional classroom, and then you mentioned about that, well, there's 2 days for this and do. So I was wondering, can you kind of elaborate on that a little more?
Yes.
And it's explained in the blog post and on the website, on the DoSeum website.
Yes, I can elaborate. What we offer is a 2-day a week, which would be Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. I have some parents that they're like, I only want 1 day right now. And that's okay. How about Friday? But then this last couple of years, we've learned how to be even more flexible, because the requests from our parents that are working from home a lot, they will say, it really works better for me if they come Monday and Friday. How's that? So I can change anything I need to change for my parents. I can change the days of the week. I can add one. Some of them want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I can do just about anything they can dream of that works for my parents' schedule, because I think I really want to be there for them.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be small, and then you can be flexible.
Exactly.
And just having the right mindset of
Exactly.
wanting, it's a community, and you want to care for
Yes.
the families here in the
And I
community.
teach Mondays and Wednesdays right now, always have. And since I was director for several years. And since I teach Monday and Wednesdays, I do have other teachers. But if my subs are me, so if it's a Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, Miss Kathy's number one sub, that's my choice. And then we have something different here than really you don't have at other schools in the same way, because coming from a formal background, I have all my educators that I work with that I've wooed into being my subs. And so they've all had, they've done the deal. They've done their background. They do all their checks, everything as a regular teacher, because they are in some other settings a teacher. But I talk them into being my subs also. So I don't have to call someone and say, I need a sub that I don't know.
Right. You have a pool of trusted people. They
Right
understand
here.
the culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I bring them down and introduce them at the beginning of the year and say, this is Mr. Clint, this is Miss Shauna, this is Miss Helen, and you might see them in there sometime. They come and play with you sometime, and that's usually how I phrase it with the little ones.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's I don't even know how to express. I mean, like the DoSeum has been a big part for our family, and my kids they're bigger now. They still love the DoSeum, but I mean, we've had so many positive experiences with activities that the DoSeum does, like if it's art activities or STEM activities. And I encourage families dig around on the events page on the DoSeum website, because there's that's a way to experience the DoSeum and kind of dip your toe in, and then get a sense of what the DoSeum is about. And then also families, they can come and visit at Little Doers, right? And kind of observe, and
they can observe from afar.
Okay. They can look through the windows.
I can't bring children in here that are not on my roster, so to speak. It's for my license. However, I do bring them in when I'm doing a tour with them sometime, and I will sit out there with them for a few minutes and let them watch the interaction in the classroom and explain the whole program. But the DoSeum has that, like we're having Big Day of Play Saturday.
Right.
And you can watch for that on the website also. We have it at least 3 to 4 times a year. So our Big Day of Play is this Saturday, and then we have another one in July, and then one in the fall.
Yeah.
So that's another chance for the parents to come here, not only use all the exhibits, but have a special all day of all ages, because I always do a 3-4-year-old area that I end up with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds in there with me because they're interested in what we're doing. So I say, well, come on. So yes, the DoSeum is able to progress out there a lot of programs. A lot of programs, not just walking into the gallery. And as you know, right now, for instance, in our traveling gallery, we have Eric Carle here. The Eric Carle exhibit, which he's one of my all-time favorite authors anyway. I think most people feel the same. So that's another way we're different, because we have a traveling gallery, so we have different entities coming in, or we make our own traveling gallery.
Right.
So
there's so much creation happening at the DoSeum, right? Like the exhibit that's coming. I was talking with Meredith about the exhibit that's coming this summer.
Yes.
And I'm blanking on the name of it. I'm sorry, but it has to do with like cities and thinking about the future, and very STEM oriented. But what's cool is that's an exhibit that it was here before.
It was similar. We made that back then. We did it, and so we're just adding to it. And adding even more interesting things to it. There's going to be some things that look similar. The first one I heard we were doing this particular exhibit, I said, are we going to have a slide again? Because that was one of the biggest, most popular with the little ones. And yes, we will. So it's a very fun exhibit. And our back of house, our exhibits team is the one that's building it. I know Meredith probably told you that.
Yeah. Well, and then that exhibit is going to travel to other places, right? So the DoSeum is part of this exhibit creation process now, and sending these great ideas out into the world to help other kids in other communities.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
wonderful place. It keeps me here because I retired from my classroom 9.5 years ago, and then I came here a few months later. So, and it keeps me here,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just lots of fun, and that's the one thing that people say when they walk by if they don't understand the concept of play with children. They'll say, "That's a school? I just see kids in there playing," and I say, "Oh, they're playing, but they're also learning."
Right.
That's how children learn.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and part of what I mean, the DoSeum serves so many functions, right? Like, I mean, it's
Yes.
a place where kids can play and learn. It's also there's like the professional development aspect, right? Like that the
Yes.
DoSeum puts on workshops and helps, like teachers boost their skills, and it's part
Yes.
of like what's happened, these ideas that you are enacting at Little
Mhm.
Doers with this set of children, that these
Yes.
ideas can spread to other schools that maybe need to dial down some of the academic pressure on kids at a young age and try to increase the amount of play.
Yes.
So, and just realize that if you're thoughtful about the curriculum, they're still learning. They're just having so much fun while they're at it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, I'm a big proponent of that, to dial some of that down for the little ones, because it, creates some anxiety in children when they're very, very young. But again, the children that come here, they view learning as fun, so that's a wonderful thing. If they're going to have fun, they're going to learn.
Yeah, yeah. And they're going to have a positive attitude about it, and they'll
Yes.
be developing the social emotional skills while they're at it.
Exactly.
And then that's what is building them that good foundation. So when they do go to
Yes.
kindergarten, right, they have a positive attitude about school. They're excited
Yes.
to play, and they're equipped to listen and to cooperate and to manage their emotions so that they can be good learners, hopefully.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, not to put too much pressure on them, but it's a process, right?
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I think it can only be a good thing when you're able to change. And again, we're small, so we can control some of that, the way we do things with them. And that's the other piece that I love about it. Writing our own curriculum, and we do cover everything with the TEKS for parents wondering. We do connect to what the state wants us to do, but for that age group, for pre-kindergarten guidelines, and we follow a lot of what NACI
Right.
recommends. So that combination makes a wonderful holistic approach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, okay. We've covered a lot about it. I just don't want to I guess so wrapped up in I love this place. I'm just so happy being at the DoSeum, and it brings back so many good memories of my kids called it the ball factory, but the force course.
Yes. Oh yes. They call it force course now, but yes, right. That's what you would ask a lot of children is where are the balls? Because when we first came here, they hadn't built the force course with the balls. So a lot of the children that have been downtown like yours, where's the balls? But we got them in there. We got them in there. But that teaches them, that's also simple machines.
Right.
So
cause and effect. And yeah. My son, the diligent little scientist. If I do this, does it do the same thing? It did something different. Why? Right? So much testing, right?
Yes.
So much persistence.
Yes.
Yeah. That pays off in life. Being curious and
yes,
wanting to see it through. Yeah. I'm checking my notes here of what. We talked about and I'll. Yeah, how people they can contact you. They can.
Oh yes,
visit
you can go. You can. Go online and contact Kathy Jordan, and I'm online. So you will, it says if you have any questions about Little Doers, just contact me. So you can feel free to take that number that's on there or email me, whatever's easiest for the parents. And I'm always open for tours, of course. Even if you have come here and played a lot, I still offer to come in and give a tour. For my parents, and it's very user friendly. If you jump on and look under experiences, when you go on DoSeum's website, look under experiences, and you find the Little Doers Preschool, and then it will show you how to register. And I also have my registration packet on there, so they can also access that also.
Right.
But again, I always encourage my parents, you have any questions, please call me, email me, and I will be glad to sit in front of you if you want to talk about it, or take you on a tour of the room and talk about how we take the children through their day when they're here, because we do have availability for 9 to 12 for the parents that do not want or need extended care. And then we have children here for extended care till 3 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it's so tricky at that age. Like you need to know, like, I don't know. It depends on the kid too, right? Like how much
Yes.
time they want to be away from home, and then
Yes.
as parents, like we're trying to get our stuff done too, and just find that right balance. So
Yes.
that's why flexibility is really important. And I mean, kind of the SC Charter Moms ethos and our message to parents is like we're trying to help you find information and find out the range of options out there. But like
Yes.
as a family, like you need to figure out what works for
What
you.
works for them.
Yeah.
And we're very flexible. I can fix that schedule any way they want it to look. I have some parents that say, well, I want to try till 12, but what if I want to change to extended care a little later because of my job? And I said, that's fine. As long as I've got room, and I have 2 classrooms, as long as I have room, we can change anything you need to change during the school year. I have that happen a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, can you think of any like stories to share about like a particular child you felt like, you mentioned like sometimes like they're like that light bulb goes off and like
Yes.
they've had an insight about social emotional.
Well, I think the boy and the girl that I was talking about still comes to my mind. They were the first 2 years. She was here the first 2 years. He came in the second and third year, but painfully shy as far as social emotional and social skills. And she's out there doing a play. I went to her play a couple of months, about 3 months ago. And so she's out in the community. She dances. I go to her dance recitals.
Wow.
I mean, she has really, and mom says, this just really helped her. She just has stretched. She stretches herself. And the young man is doing really well academically. They both were, but he was struggling sometimes with his reading. So, and recognition of graphophonemic knowledge, struggling with recognizing his letters when he first got here. But they're doing fantastic. And they're the ones that I'm the grandma. So I get to see them, at least 3 or 4 times a year under different venues. So I get to see how they're doing. And I have parents contact me and tell me how their child is doing. I've out in HEB parking lot. I ran into one of mine one day, and how children, when they see their teacher, they're like,
you're not in the school.
Right. You're here, and he had really, really struggled socially and emotionally, and he was doing fantastic. Parents came out of their car and said, Miss Kathy. But yes, we have many, many children that have left here that come back to visit. And again, I've had siblings, 3 and 4 children in the same family.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, do you think we should like pick up the laptop maybe? And
I think so.
I can steer it around.
I think so.
All right. So I'll be the laptop steer. So I don't know.
Let's go over and look at our butterflies.
Okay.
Because we have been studying our butterflies, and so they did come out of their chrysalis. It might be hard to see.
Okay.
I can slowly turn them around very gently.
Oh, I see them. Okay. Oh, there's one right there on the mesh. Okay.
And so the children have that hands-on experience too, and they love it. They love it. And that's over here in the corner. We're trying to let them kind of like be out of the way of the traffic here when the kids are moving around, give them a little bit of quiet. But over here is one side of the room, which I love, our little alphabet train. And over here is our reading area. They have their reading area.
Got to get down to kid level here where all the books are, right?
That's why you see so many things down low. In case anybody wonders, because it needs to be down here low for them. And
oh yeah, the social emotional
piece right here. They can learn. And this is actually an extra thing I added this year. We always did it, but we didn't have the posters. Right. So now we have the posters, but it teaches, when we're teaching the children of How do we feel? How do I feel? How did what happened make me feel? Letting them remind them that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be silly. It's okay to be worried. There's many things here. They can learn all these zones, and then they learn how to tell you what zone they're in.
Right.
And like I say, we're added that this year. So it will be, we had it, but it just wasn't up here on the wall. The kids didn't know. Yeah. So now it's better graphics for them.
Right. And for anyone who's just listening on the podcast, these posters have different emojis and they're grouped into different colors, kind of depending on intensity. So red, yellow, green, blue, the different, and it just gives them that language for talking about their feelings.
So they want to be, they'll learn that they like to be in the green area a lot because that's happy, calm, ready to learn, and focused. So it's blue zone, well, tired, sad, if they come in not feeling well, but they can learn, and we're going to give them, we're already almost at the end of the school year. So their little, on the ring, they're going to have these little zones, and so they can tell us how they feel and point to it after we've taught them. To use this particular program. But I love it because I've always taught my children, even when I was in a regular special ed classroom, about feelings and that social emotional piece. It's very important.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other spots in the classroom we want to?
Well, we have our family. Some of our families some children, when they're here, especially some of my extended care kids, if they get a little sad sometimes, say, I miss my mommy, we have their pictures up here. It can be a happy thing or it can be a comforting thing. I invite all my parents to bring pictures and put up here just to share their family. But this really comes in handy sometime when one of the little extended care guys or a brand new child comes in and they haven't ever been in a setting like this. And they get to, oh, here's mommy, here's brother, it really helps them. Sometimes we'll just sit their little chair down there and they just get to sit there and watch them for a while if they need to, just to give them some reassurance and let them know they're in a safe place.
Right. Yeah. Get that comfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and this is beautiful. This looks like crayon artwork, and it says Little Doers. All the different crayon colors. That's beautiful. So the wax melted to make the rainbow. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. I'll go ahead and set the laptop back down. Hope I didn't make anybody seasick who's watching. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, I'm going to recap by just putting the banners back up on the screen. So we've been talking about Little Doers Preschool at the DoSeum with Miss Kathy, and then the best way to get information, we've got in the description of the video, it takes you to the blog post, but you can also go directly to thedoseum.org/Little Doers. But it's, as Kathy said, it's under the experiences tab, and there's lots of information there, contact information, the enrollment packet, lots of details about the program on the website. And then Miss Kathy's email is kjordan@thedoseum.org.
Yes.
And there's also there's a phone number, right? Folks can call.
Yes, but I mean, I can give them my phone number, but I'm not at my desk a lot, so they'll say you didn't, you weren't there, and I'll say, well, that's because I'm usually in the
right.
Exactly. So, but that's on the website too.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can always respond to a message.
Right.
And that also comes through on my computer, so it depends on where I am, and I can check it.
Yeah.
But yes, email is probably better if you want to reach me quickly or pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. And if, on the DoSeum website, we talked about, day of play and, all kinds of the Eric Carle exhibit and just all kinds of things that are happening. So, families can
And then we also pick, depending on what we're studying that week, we'll pick another gallery or weather permitting, we go outside and do a lot of gross motor. Yes. And we even have a whole week that I do of fitness, and nutrition is one week and leads up to fitness. And we're out a lot. So, you know, we just do, and we do yoga. So
Oh, yeah, I
the
saw
kids
the
have a
yoga
lot of
mats
fun.
over there,
Yes,
yes.
got the yoga mats over there. We have our sensory bins, which are very important for this age.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, it's been great having a conversation about it. Your stories
Yes.
bring so much more to it than just what's on the page
Oh,
in the blog
yes.
post. So yeah, and it's just a pleasure to get to talk to you, and I'm really proud to be sharing about what you're doing at Little Doers, because I think I want more families to know about this option, and also to have high expectations about what an early childhood program can offer, that like kids should be learning, but they should also be able to play.
Yes.
And this is just a very unique environment for kids to be able to play and learn.
Well, I'm so happy that you guys contacted us. I really am, because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of like, I love this, and I love the children, and I love my job, and it's just keeps you young, and you just love watching children learn.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Kathy.
You're
And
welcome.
I'll catch y'all later.